everybody. I'm Nancy with girlsinthestacks.com, and I'm here with Ellen Hopkins, hello, the author of Crank, and her latest book, Fallout, which is the third book in the Crank series. And we are here at the Austin Teen Book Festival, where she just had her keynote speech, which went over very well.
I'm glad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the last day of Banned Books Week. So that was part of what she spoke about as well. And your whole disinvites from the teen book festivals and all those things that went on. You know, you have been on the ALA list of most frequently challenged authors for 2009. And your books, I mean, they're kind of scary subjects for parents, you know, sex, drugs, incest, abuse.
I guess I need to still cover rock and roll.
Drugs. I know, and that's probably the least of their worries. So what do you say to all of those critics who want to take your books out of those libraries?
That, you know, I read letters from my readers in the keynote. That every reader's experience is different, and there are kids that need to know they're not alone, that need understanding into their parents' addictions, that need just to know that there's a way out at the other end, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so what's not right for one reader is definitely necessary for another. Yes. It's very important to keep those books on shelves. And you know, as for parents, I really think they ought to read the books with their kids when an idea, not only to see what their child is reading, but also to open up the lines of communication about issues that are likely, if they're not touching their child's life, their children are seeing those issues in their schools.
Oh, definitely.
And they need that kind of understanding of those issues as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree. The Crank trilogy, and it's kind of loosely based on your daughter's own struggle with drugs. What prompted you to start writing?
It was that my straight A+ student, this kid that had all this potential, and I mean, we were, you know, she was aiming for the Art Institute of Seattle. She had these big dreams that she was heading for, and she took a wrong turn, and I mean, her life will never be the same. Our lives will never be the same. And at some point, my daughter went to prison, and I needed to figure out why. It was 6 years of trying to beat the addiction. We couldn't do it for her. She had to want it, and she didn't. So we needed to I had to figure out why, you know. So, which is why I wrote first person from her point of view, to try to get some kind of understanding of that. And you know, I was writing this book, and it really became clear that the message wasn't just my story. The story belonged to many readers. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was important to put it out on a YA level and hopefully help kids make better decisions.
Oh, definitely. Yes, as you said, Crank was first person from Christina's point of view. Now, Fallout, your book that just came out this last week?
Right.
Yeah. This one's told from the story of her children, Hunter and Summer and Autumn.
Right.
Correct. So why? So you changed the viewpoint, though. There was 2 books from Christina's viewpoint, right. Crank and Glass. So what made you change it from the last one?
Because addiction doesn't just touch the addict, it touches the lives of their children, everybody that loves them, but specifically their children. And I hear from so many of my readers who are dealing with a parent's addiction. And so, you know, I never understood why my dad left. I never understood why my mother ignored me all those years. And so I wanted to give them a voice and offer, you know, some understanding of how, you know, these issues don't just touch the addict, they touch the families, the friends, loved ones, people that love them, and to give my grandchildren a voice as well, because those are basically my grandchildren in that book.
That's true. Now you write your books in prose, and I don't know if anyone else, if you know this when you're watching this, they're short pages, you know, but oops, there goes my receipt. But you know, some of them are actually word pictures in here, and then some of them are just, you know, poetry poems, you know, short poems. It reads like stream of consciousness, kind of almost. So why did you start with poetry? How did you get started with poetry as opposed to just writing this as a regular novel?
I've been writing poetry forever, but I actually started Crank in prose and regular just paragraphs, and the voice was not Christina's. It was my voice. It was too angry. It was too strong. And so I put the book away, and I went to SWWI LA, a big conference in LA, and heard Sonia Sohn speak. She's another verse novelist. And so I'm like, poetry, fiction? I should try that. And then I tried it, and I just discovered a talent for it. You know, I spent a lot of time with the formatting. Most verse novelists tend to write in kind of standard stanzas. I chose to give some visual interest on the page with the poems that are shaped poems.
Yes, some of them are letters, and some of them are just, you know, different shapes on the page. And I was trying to look for one that I could find.
I know you never can do that when you
never when you need it. I should have had it marked, huh?
Yeah, but there's one in Crank that especially, it's my editor's favorite poem out of that book, which is Shaped Like a Cross. And it's
I remember that one. Yeah.
Bree, who's the crankster, which is the thicker part of the cross, talking to God and saying, you know, I'm sure you have better things to do than to worry about me. And then it crosses on the word Lord, and the skinny one is what's left of Christina, saying, but if you do still care, Lord, you know, keep me safe.
So what would you like your readers to take away from these books?
Just, you know, the idea that even at 14, 15, 16 years old, that you're faced with choices every day. And to, you know, as you're thinking about making those choices, we can forgive mistakes, but there are some things that you can't get past. You know, if you choose this route, meth addiction is not something you can't control it. It controls you. Or if you get in a car and drive drunk and you kill your best friend, that's going to be with you forever. So, you know, before you climb into that car, before you take that first hit of crank, think about, I hope you will think about these books and the outcomes of those choices.
Well, in one of your letters today, you even said, one of the people who had written to her had said, you made me stop. That they actually stopped after they read your book. Totally quit meth. So I think that's an inspiration.
I hope so.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for being with us today.
For having me. I appreciate being here.
And with that, we'll see you in the stacks.